Hello everybody, today I'm going to be drawing some fast food. I kind of just feel like drawing it, and as some of you guys know, I'm trying to improve my marker skills, so I think this will be a great week to practice them, kind of like I did when drawing the strawberry shortcake, and if you haven't watched that video, I will leave a link to it in the description. But I've got my sketchbook right here. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. Feel free to draw along with me, and let's just get right into the video. So I've got a blank page opened. I've got my markers, so let's just get started. And so I of course started with a sketch, and I was going for something like pretty realistic. And every reference was a little different with what was in the burger, so it was kind of hard to decide. But I just decided to put lettuce, tomato, cheese, and the patty, of course. And I decided to swatch all my colors right on the page, just because it kind of showed like a process, and it also added a little something to the page. And at this point I was feeling a little bit overwhelmed because the whole thing was empty and I was just starting coloring, and I didn't want to ruin the drawing. But I just started with the lettuce and kind of tried to give it that texture by just moving the marker around, and then I went in with a darker green and added it to the darker bits or the shadows to give it the lettuce texture that I wanted. And in case you're wondering, this lettuce did take forever to color just because I couldn't do like big motions with my hand, and it was definitely not my favorite thing to draw in this burger. And the rest of it was just like layering and blending. When I add the darker values here, that really looks unappetizing and like wilting lettuce, but don't worry, I fix it with this like kind of lime green that I blend everything out with, and now it looks a lot better. And here of course is where my hand slips. Great job creating more work for yourself. And unfortunately markers aren't erasable, but it's okay, I just extended the lettuce a bit and then I kind of evened it out on the other side. And now there's just a big piece of lettuce in the burger. Or maybe it's a sign to eat healthier. Either way, I did move on to the tomatoes, and that was a very bright red I used. I just need someone to explain to me how this burger place has literally the best produce I've ever seen. But anyways, I did decide to tone it down a bit because nobody's that perfect, and that also definitely added some dimension. But then I moved on to the cheese, and so I have like these three yellow colors that I used. One's like a little bit more orangey, one's a light yellow, and then one's like somewhere in the middle. And I have to say, I think drawing the cheese was my favorite, just because I really enjoyed drawing that texture. But anyways, I moved on to the patty, and I started off with a brown, and then I moved on to a darker brown. And I used that to add some shadow and just give the patty some texture. But once I was happy with that, I moved on to the last part, which was the bread. But then my brain decided to remind me that markers do bleed, so I just placed a paper under the sheet. And actually nothing had bled through, but I'm glad I put it because the bread definitely did with all the blending I tried to accomplish. These markers were just not blending. I don't know what happened, but I tried my best with it. I didn't really have any other brown to use. And the bottom doesn't look too bad, but the top got kind of rough. I think it was one of the markers I was using, and two, just like the harsh difference in color. But yeah, I just kind of figured that out and added a bit more brown. The top one is definitely my least favorite part, but I don't think it turned out that bad, and I also added some sesame seeds on top with a white gel pen, as well as a few highlights on the cheese, and then the burger was done. And if you have a burger, you have to have some fries, so that's what I decided to draw next, kind of at like the bottom right corner. And I wanted to use one of those like tins that has like paper inside and then the fries. Hopefully you can see what I mean by my drawing, but then I kind of just sketched in some like random rectangles to act as the fries, going like every which way. And then I just started coloring, so I used basically the same colors as I used for the cheese, just because I wanted it to be cohesive, and also I think those colors worked well. And these fries were definitely a repetitive process of just adding the light and then the darker and then like the super dark. And I tried my best to make each fry continuous, like if you saw one part of it then you saw the rest of it, maybe overlapping a different fry or something. And just like trying to make everything make sense. And I feel like these fries don't look super good from like up close, but from far away they look pretty darn good. But then I just moved on to the tin, and I went for like a black plastic look. So I just colored in the black part, and then I started on the paper, and I wanted it to be like the red checkerboard. And I was so scared for this. It was like the one thing I was avoiding, but I just went for it. I was definitely just making up a few things because of like all the folds and different ways the paper was going. I wasn't really sure how to do that, but yeah, I just kind of figured it out as I went. And it was definitely looking really rough right now, but I went in with a gray and started adding like some shadows to the paper. I feel like this gray was definitely too dark, but I didn't really have a lighter one. And I think this definitely helped with dimension. But then I went on to do the bottom part. And I found that there was like no real way to do this that would make it look really good. So I just kind of added a few white spaces and it doesn't look too bad, I don't think. But then I just did some finishing touch-ups, added some white highlights to the fries, and then it was done. Okay, so here is how the finished spread came out. I'm actually really happy with it, and I think it turned out really nice. Although I was expecting to draw a little bit more than 2 items, I put a lot of time into both of them, and I'm happy that I did because I am really proud of both of them. But anyways, I had a lot of fun with this. I hope you like drawing along with me or just watching, and yeah. Hope you enjoyed. Bye!